Well, hello and welcome to another hardcore Nuzlocke. Today I want to attempt a run of Pokemon White 2 using only normal type Pokemon. And there is a normal type right there. Professor Juniper, can I have it please? Please, please, please. Anyway, as far as the Black 2 and White 2 games are concerned, I have only actually played through one of these games one time. It was Black 2 and it was a long time ago. So I don't remember these games very well. What I do know is I remember enjoying playing them. I know that this game is decently long with the Team Plasma stuff. Again, with the power of Google, I know we can figure our way through this game. There's no better way, in my opinion, to figure out a game like this than just nuzlocking it. We're going to definitely trip up a few times because there are points of this game that I don't remember, but I'm excited to play it nonetheless. What makes Black 2 and White 2 a little bit better than Black and White, in my opinion, is you're not only dealing with the Unova Dex. We're going to have some encounters outside of Gen 5 that we can actually catch. Of course, early on, it's going to look just like the last run that we did in White with normal types. So it's not until we leave and get to Castelia City that we will finally get some Pokemon that are not Generation 5. I'm excited to do this run. I hope you guys are excited for another Generation 5 game. I know a lot of people enjoy these games. A lot of people regard Generation 5 as the best generation. I don't know about that, but I do love them nonetheless. And these Gen 5 games are no different than any other generation. We have my room here in the house where I sleep and do my thing. And then we have the living room, I guess, where my mom sleeps on the couch. But where are the bathrooms? Just like every other Pokemon game, there is not a single bathroom to be had. Are these people just feral? Do they just go outside? Look at this. This even has like a little nook for an upstairs kitchen for a studio apartment type thing, but no bathroom. I think it's really cool to see the old faces from Black and White, like Bianca, who's now an assistant to the professor, and Charon, who is the first gym leader. We're going to get to see him very soon. I also, in my head, Bianca in Black and White just has like an ooh voice. She's kind of whiny, like, I have a really important request for you. You know, but in this game, she's not so whiny, and I know that didn't sound anything like what I meant, but she has an ooh voice in Black and White in my head. In this one, she doesn't. I'm not good with voices. I'm just trying to make a point. Anyway, we do get our starter here, and I choose Snivy. This gives our rival Tepig, which is going to be a fighting type, probably the hardest thing that we can do. I don't think he's going to be real difficult until probably the end game. Nonetheless, we're going to give this Pokemon a nickname, and we're going to have to use it for just a minute. And I think a good nickname is Mike Tyson. And just like every single run I've ever done, I nickname my rival Algorithm. Because why? Well, we're trying to beat the Algorithm both in-game and in real life. In-game is all up to me, but in real life, I need your help. If you want to help me beat the Algorithm, you can do so by liking the video, commenting, subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell. Any and all interactions with the channel help out a lot. I know it doesn't seem like much, and I know it does seem like from time to time that I'm begging, but seriously, if you're coming back each and every week and watching these videos, just throw like a little comment saying hi, you know? It does help out so much, and I do appreciate each and every one of you that do that every week. Thanks again for the continued support. Last week's episode did kind of fall flat, and that's okay. It's bound to happen. A randomizer with hidden power as your only attacking move might not be the video for everybody, but I had fun with the video, and the people that did watch it enjoyed it. I hope this video does a lot better. A Gen 5 game, it should. Bianca giving us Pokeballs in the Pokemon Center marks the official start of the run. Now it is time to head to Route 19 and get our real starter. I think it is so funny that they don't give Algo's sister an actual name. They just call her Algo's sister, considering her Pokemon getting stolen is a big part of the rival side story thing. I just think that is absolutely hilarious. Couldn't be bothered. So out on Route 19, the first Pokemon that we run into is a Patrat. Nice. Patrat is a decent Pokemon, and I think this thing's going to carry us through a good portion of the game, provided we can catch it. If I don't catch this Pokemon, is that a wipe? technically, because we didn't get a starter? Or do I just advance to Route 20 and try to get something there? I'm pretty sure it's a wipe and we'd have to start over. No matter, Patrat cooperates and gets in the first Pokeball that we throw. Very nice. Now, just like I did in the White 2 run, I think I'm going to go with a very similar name theme. See, Patrat here resembles like a chipmunk, and when it evolves into a Watchog, that resembles, in my opinion, something like a meerkat or a prairie dog. So I'm going to bring back the name theme from the normal run of White and call this thing Rodent. Let's take a look at Rodent here. It has a lonely plus attack minus defense nature and the keen eye ability. I'll take it. Plus attack is great. And now we can head back to Aspertia City and we can go ahead and box Mike Tyson. Here we get to meet Alder, which is pretty neat, the former champion of the Unova region. And he just jumps down like a 15-foot cliff. That's crazy. Yep, I'm Zap from Aspertia City, and what are you doing sniffing me? No Diddy. That was extremely weird, dude. I don't know if I want to follow you. Bypassing the stuff with Alder and going to Route 20, we can run into a Pidove, which is our next encounter. It's a male, so we're going to get the more pretty unpheasant, not the goofy-looking one if it was female. But this is a decent Pokemon line, just like any other game that has a 3-stage bird-type Pokemon flying normal. We're going to use it. There is a static encounter that we're potentially going to get later on that may replace it, but for now, it's going on the team. Just like we did in the last run, as I said, we are going to name this thing Bird. Yep, very in-depth and thought-out name theme for sure. Taking a look at Bird here, it has a lonely nature as well, so plus attack and minus defense, and then it has the Big Peck's ability, which means our defense can't be lowered. Seriously, Game Freak? Seriously. You did this? I see it. Do you see it? We all see it. On the Flawessy Ranch, we can run into our next encounter, a Lillipup. Lillipup is an amazing Pokemon. I use this thing, I love this thing. It does get access to the different elemental fangs when it evolves into a Stoutland, provided we can find the move relearner. I do believe that it is in Driftvale City in this game. I'm going to have to look that up, because we can teach this thing Thunder Fang, Ice Fang, and Fire Fang, giving it some decent coverage. And that was a really easy catch. We've had some pretty good luck with the Pokemon thus far. Just like we did in the White 2, or the White run here in White 2, we are going to name this thing Dog. Yep, in-depth and creative. Taking a look at Dog here, it also has a lonely plus attack minus defense nature. Is something broken in my game? Unfortunately, Lillipup has the pickup ability, so it's not going to have Intimidate, but seriously, is something broken? Nope, nothing is broke. I caught a Riolu with a naive nature, and I caught another Lillipup that had a relaxed nature. I thought something was broken with my game here. It's just really random to get 3 lonely natures in a row. I don't know what kind of odds that are, but you know, good luck, I guess. All 3 of these Pokemon benefit from a plus attack nature. The minus defense is a little bit meh, but nonetheless, we do have another rival battle here with Algo. I have leveled up my Pokemon as well, getting everybody to about level 10, so his Tepig shouldn't be that big of a problem. Unfortunately for us, we can't two-shot it with Tackle, just out of the range, so we get tagged with another Tail Whip, and we can fire off one more Tackle that takes it out, winning us the second Algo battle. Watching the Mareep play here on the ranch, did you know that if you talk to these Pokemon, they each say something different? I thought that was kind of interesting. Another thing that is interesting is I used to actually raise goats when I was younger. I had about 16 of them at one time, and it was a lot of fun. Finding the lost Lillipup with this Team Plasma member, he throws the TM for frustration at us, and despite that being frustrating, this TM is a great potential stab option, especially considering our Pokemon don't like us a lot yet here in the early game. Alder also gives us orange berries. Despite him being creepy, that is going to help us here for our first gym battle. The first gym leader is Charon, and I think that's pretty cool seeing an old face. Now, Black 2 and White 2 have challenge mode that you can select at the beginning of the game, and I did not select that. It gives everybody another Pokemon, and it does change the level caps slightly. Flygon did a pretty in-depth video and found that the challenge mode actually makes things easier than if you just run through the normal game. I don't know that for sure. I'm just basing that off of what was said. I just want to play through this game and have a good time with it in its original content. We'll try challenge mode with some later Nuzlocks, sure. But this one, nah. Patrat is going to be an easy 2-shot. We did well over half of its health with Frustration turn 1. It went for workup, and then we take it out turn 2. Charon's Lillipup comes out next. Frustration this time doesn't quite do half, which is unfortunate, but it just goes for workup. I go for Leer to lower its defense, hoping for a 2-shot, and it just goes for workup, throwing the battle. Frustration next turn is enough to get the KO from the health it was at, winning us a very easy first gym badge. After beating Charon, we meet Bianca outside, and she gives us the TM for return. This is a much better stab option. Thank you. Getting ourselves to Burbank City, we of course walk into Roxy, having a family feud with her dad, and not only do I not want to get into family feuds, what has to happen at the Pokestar Studios, I just do not want to deal with. It is the silliest side quest thing that we have to do, in my opinion. It's just terrible. The nice thing about the Burbank complex, however, is we can get our hands on the Silk Scarf, getting that much more of a boost to our normal type moves. And in the Burbank complex, in Shaking Grass, we have a chance to run into our next encounter, which is Audino. This thing is a bulky Pokemon, you guys know. Provided it has the right ability, this thing can be an absolute beast. With swapping it out and it gains some health. I can't remember what that ability is called. Regenerator? That's what it's called. Let's hope it has that ability. Throw a Great Ball at it, and just like before, we did catch it with our first Pokeball, which is very, very nice. And as we did in the last video, this thing to me it looks like a rabbit, so we are going to nickname it Rabbit. If we take a look at Rabbit, see, it doesn't have a lonely nature, it has a sassy, plus special defense and minus speed nature, and it has Healer. Dang it, that's not the best ability, but it's an encounter nonetheless. We get the first evolution on the team with Dog evolving into a Herdier. It's too bad it had the pickup ability, because now we would get Intimidate. Instead, it's going to have the Sand Rush ability, which is meh. So I did an enormous amount of just running back and forth to get our friendship to the max so that we could fire off some max power returns against the Poison-type Gym Leader Roxy. It's so cool to fight Poison-type Gym Leader. I love Poison types, you guys know that. Against her lead Coughing, I fire off a return. And if I had the Silk Scarf, this might have one shot. I don't quite know. But no matter, we get hit with a fairly weak tackle. Roxy then uses a Super Potion to fully heal up the Coughing. So then we can get back-to-back returns to take the Coughing out. Her last Pokemon is Whirlipede. I fire off a return, and it does a serious amount of damage to the Whirlipede, well over half of its health, but it activates its Poison Point ability, which I cure off the poison with a held Pecha Berry. It's a good thing I did, because Venoshock would have been doubled in power, and she might have taken us out. I fire off another return, and we win our second gym badge. Immediately following the gym, of course, we have to go do the Pokestar Studios side quest crap. This is like the only thing in the game that I know for sure I don't want to do. I don't know why we can't skip this, but I guess let's just dive into this head first. I really don't want to do this stuff. But I don't have a choice. They really did my man Bryson dirty here. He's Bryson Man with a Poniard and a Volibee, and he's this evil guy, and Riolu Man has to take him out. But he doesn't do it, so you have to step in for Riolu Man. Let's just move on. This right here is so funny. In my head, it's, come on now, Zap darling. Let's go off to the theater. Oh, and then this guy's like, hey, boss, we gotta go. And he's like, oh, that's right. Sorry, Zap darling. I have to be off. Who sat in Game Freak Studios and was like, this is what we're putting in this game? It is the best. With all of that, though, we do get on a boat and we get to head to Castalia City. We finally get out of the farming rural area and off to the big city we go. Of course, the big city is crazy, and we immediately get flashed running down this alleyway. Thank you, sir. Please put your worm away. Of course, in the Castalia sewers, we find the best game item ever, the leftovers. At level 20, we have another beastly evolution on the team with Rodent evolving into a Watchhog. This is a great Pokemon, a little bit frail, but has some great option to some coverage moves. In the Castalia Park, we run into a Skitty. That's awesome. We could have ran into an Eevee here as well. The unfortunate thing about Eevee is obviously we can't evolve it. So rather than fighting this thing, I just throw some Pokeballs at it, and we do catch it with the first Great Ball, which is awesome. And now we are kind of out of our realm of the name theme. Of course, this thing is a kitten Pokemon named Skitty. So what do you think we're going to name it? Well, we're going to name it Cat. Because I'm real creative and thoughtful. Let's take a look at Cat here, and it has a bashful neutral nature. I'll take it. Has a cute charm ability. It is male. We'll see if that factors in at all through our playthrough. When I was running through the sewers with Algo, I did repel the entire way through so that we wouldn't kill our next encounter, which happens to be a Rattata. I'm going to say that name incorrectly forever because I said it incorrectly one time and it pissed somebody off, and now I don't care. When I was a kid, I mispronounced this name, and I'm going to continue to mispronounce it because it's embedded in my head. Anyway, throw a Pokeball, catch a Pokemon. It's a very simple game. Of course, we are going to name this thing Rat. What else will we name it? And my team is completely full right now, so it's going to the box. Rushing back to the Pokemon Center and pulling Rat out of the box, putting it on the team, taking a look at it, it has an Impish plus defense minus special attack nature, and it has the Guts ability. That's it. That's it, you're a permanent member of the team. Guts is so busted. Before heading to Berg, the third gym leader, we have a couple of evolutions on the team, starting out with Bird evolving into a Tranquil. Very nice. Very welcome addition to the team. And then, of course, we also have Rat evolving into a Raticate. Again, another beastly evolution. Welcome to the team. Berg is the third gym leader with bug types, and I went back to the Castalia sewers and pre-poisoned Rat off of a sludge from a Grimer. I also ran around like a madman before that, getting our friendship to the max, so that a Guts boosted max powered return easily one-shots the Swadloon. Very, very nice. Out comes Dwebble. Dwebble, unfortunately, gets critically hit from a crunch, taking it down to its sturdy, putting a little bit of a damper in my plans. It goes for Rock Polish to boost its speed, and then Berg goes for a Hyper Potion, fully healing this thing up. I then hit it with another crunch, which takes it below half of its health, and then we still outspeed it despite the speed boost from Rock Polish, and we take it out with one more crunch. We are gaining health back because I have the held leftovers, so we're not losing too much health, I should say, from poison damage as the Leavanny comes out. I fire off that max power return, and unfortunately it leaves Leavanny on a sliver of health. Citrus Berry then activates, pulling this thing out of healing range, and we get hit with a string shot to lower our speed. No matter, we still outspeed the Leavanny the next turn, and we take it out with one more return. Before I took on Berg in his gym, I was out here on Route 4 battling all of these trainers, doing some training. I knew after the gym battle, we were going to have to battle Colress. Colress likes to use Steel-type Pokemon, which pose a problem for our normal types this early in the game because we don't have a lot of coverage options. After this battle, we get access to Dig, and eventually we will have some moves to deal with his team, but he leads with a Magnemite that likes to go for Thunder Wave to paralyze our team, and we're in the middle of a sandstorm. He tries to stall us out. I did not heal Rat after the battle. I used a potion, came straight here to battle Colress. A Guts-boosted return takes Magnemite down to Sturdy, if you can believe that. Now, Sturdy on any Pokemon takes it down to 1 health, very similar to a Focus Sash here in Generation 5. It's a little bit annoying, but we have to deal with it. We get hit with a spark, we get hit with the poison damage, we get hit with the sandstorm, but we have the leftovers for some potential heal back. Magnemite gets healed with a super potion from Colress, and another return takes it right back down to Sturdy. Luckily for us, this means we still outspeed, and we can take it out with one more return after a little bit of chip damage. Clink then comes out, and Clink's a little bit more bulky because it does not go down to a single return. It survives in low yellow health, but it just goes for charge. So we win this battle very easy despite a lot of planning. Mondays on Route 4, there is a static encounter for Braviary, and what is special about this static encounter is, number one, it is a Braviary. We don't have to catch a Rufflet and wait till level 55 to evolve it, but also, this Braviary has the hidden ability Defiant. Very nice. So I'm hoping we can catch this thing. This thing, of course, can take my Pokemon out very, very easily. This is just going to be a huge, bulky Pokemon for this early in game. Return takes it low. A Hone Claws is fine. I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to have to risk this just a little bit and go for Hypnosis, which actually connects. I love the fact that the sleep animation on the Pokemon, it does close its eyes. I think that is one of the coolest additions to any game. At this point, I have a little bit of Pokeballs on me, so we can throw a Great Ball at this thing. And just like before, we actually catch this. That's beautiful. Wonderful. Just like before, I am going to nickname this thing Eagle, because it's an eagle. Taking a look at Eagle here in the box, it has a Careful, plus Special Defense, and minus Special Attack Nature, and then its hidden ability, Defiant. Anytime any stat is lowered, its attack increases. So if we lead with Eagle against an Intimidate Pokemon, instead of getting that attack lower, we'll get an attack buff. It's pretty awesome. It is unfortunately going to take Bird Spot for now. This is a great Pokemon, and I am sad to put it in the box, but you're outclassed by Braviary. I'm sorry. Out on Route 5, Bianca shows us the Hidden Grottos. In the first Hidden Grotto we go to, we have a viable encounter for us, a Mincino. I don't know that I'm going to use this Mincino, but I want to catch all of the potential encounters nonetheless, just in case. Now, we get hit with a Swift, and I'm going to go for a Secret Power. The neat thing about Secret Power is the location that we're in, it hits him with kind of like a grass-looking move. It has potential to put the Pokemon to sleep. It's a very rare chance, but it can happen nonetheless. Unfortunately, we don't actually put this thing to sleep. We just put it in low red health. We also didn't crit it, which is very nice. That was kind of risky. But you got to risk it for the biscuits. We throw a Great Ball, and we catch the Mincino. Now, as the Pokedex entry pops up, this thing is known as a Chinchilla Pokemon, but I didn't read that in my first playthrough. I just named this thing a Squirrel. So this one gets named Squirrel as well. Taking a look at Squirrel here, in the box it has a Naughty plus Attack minus Special Defense Nature, and it has the Skill Link ability, which increases the frequency of multi-strike moves like Double Slap or Tail Slap that it eventually gets. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use this thing much, but for now, I am going to take it out of the box, and I'm going to replace Skitty. Skitty just isn't a great Pokemon early on. When we can evolve it into a Delcatty, we'll probably swap these two back. The newly found fashion model, Elisa, and her electric types are the next gym challenge. It's cool that she's a fashion model instead of like a leader of a roller coaster. Anyway, she still has an annoying Emolga, and this thing is part flying, so we can't hit it with Dig, so I'm going to go for the Stab superpowered return on a pre-poison Guts Rat, and we one-shot. Of course we do. Flaffy comes out next, and rather than going for return, I decide to try out our newly found Dig, and it is enough to one-shot the Flaffy. Okay, 2 down, 1 to go. Zebstrika comes out next, and this thing is pretty fast, but fortunately we do outspeed it and we go for Dig, so its attack misses, and then Dig is enough to KO the Zebstrika. Very nice. We one-shot all 3 of her Pokemon. That was a very easy gym challenge. Walking away from this gym leader is hilarious. We're walking down this runway, and then it looks like her entourage and her are coming to jump my ass for beating her. in the gym battle. But instead, she has crowned me the new Miss Unova. That's awesome. I never thought I'd be a fashion model. I'll add it to my resume. Team Plasma really went from being the Pajama Pita people to space pirates? I don't know what's going on. I know that the one Plasma just hit the other Plasma, and as they're bickering back and forth, I'm like, hey, look, I'm Miss Unova. I am now a fashion icon. And as these two are bickering and I'm being stupid, Algo out of nowhere just screams, hey! And then comes rushing in, pushes me out of the way, and pops the Plasma guy. This game is just something else. I love this part of this side story stuff is awesome. I love it. In Driftvale, with a Pokemon at level 30 or higher, we can get access to the Expert Belt, which is an amazing held item. We can then head pretty far north on Route 6 and we can find ourselves a Moonstone, which will help us evolve a Skitty. Even further on Route 6, inside of this little house, we can talk to this person that gives us a Shiny Stone. Since we have Squirrel on us, we might as well go ahead and evolve it into a Cincino. As I said before, we have the Moonstone, we can get a Delcatty. I think we're going to end up boxing this Pokemon, but it is a good alternate to have. Using Repels on Route 6 and waiting for Shaking Grass can net us another encounter. There's a chance that we find Audino, Levani, there's a 10% chance to find Dunsparce, and there's a 5% chance that we find Castform here on Route 6. Luckily for us, we've ran into a Dunsparce. It's always had a very deep move pool since Generation 2, and it only gets deeper as the generations go. This thing is a great physical attacker, it's a great special attacker, and if it has the ability Serene Grace, it's that much better. Now, eventually, after swapping some Pokemon around, I do throw an Ultra Ball at this thing, and we do catch it. Very nice. Now, it says it's a land snake Pokemon, but it looks like a worm to me, so I'm going to name this thing Worm. Taking a look at Worm in the box here, it has a hardy neutral nature, and it does have the Serene Grace ability that is amazing. It already has moves like Yawn and Roost, which is phenomenal as well. So it's going to take Audino's spot on the team for now. Also want to grab the Skitty, like I said, because we're going to go ahead and evolve this thing. And Cincino's going to take a backseat in the box as an alternate. With the Moonstone, we have a quick evolution, a Skitty evolving into a Delcatty. And that is a nice evolution. I've never really used a Delcatty. I know they can be a bit annoying to fight against, so having one on the team is a great option. And just before we go take on the Driftvale gym here with Clay and his ground types, we have another beastly evolution with Herdier evolving into a Stoutland. Dog is powered up to the max. And after we beat Clay, we get access to the Move Relearner. Now there's a Shard Tutor here in Driftvale that I didn't show, but we could teach Rodent Seed Bomb from that Shard Move Tutor. I lead Eagle to take the Intimidate from the Krokorok. Again, this activates our Defiant ability, so it is what it is. I just wanted to soak up the Intimidate. I'm going to immediately swap into Rodent. Krokorok shouldn't go for Bulldoze. Instead, we get hit with a Torment on the swap in. That's a little bit annoying. We can't use the same move twice in a row. An Expert Belt boosted Seed Bomb is enough to one-shot the Krokorok, which is very nice. Sandslash comes out next. We hit it with a Confuse Ray because of the Torment. It breaks through Confusion to hit us with a Bulldoze, which is very annoying. It does a decent amount of damage, and it lowers our speed. Rodent is a speedy boy, though, and outspeeds, hitting an Expert Belt boosted Seed Bomb, not quite KOing the Sandslash, which of course snaps out of Confusion the very next turn, and hits us with another Bulldoze that if it had crit, obviously would have KO'd us. We're sitting on 10 HP of health, as I decide to swap in Eagle. We're going to do some pivoting here to force a couple of different moves. Clay uses a Hyper Potion, which I didn't expect, so we get to swap into Eagle for free. I go for a Wing Attack that takes it right to about half health, and then we get hit with a Crush Claw that lowers our defense so that activates our Defiant ability, getting us an attack boost. With that +1 to attack, another Wing Attack takes out the Sandslash. How nice is that? Excadrill comes out next. Excadrill has Rock Slide, so I swap from Eagle into Dog. We get hit with the Rock Slide, which we tank very well, and then we go for Dig. Dig is super effective against this Steel Ground type, taking it down to low yellow health. Its Citrus Berry activates, and then we get hit with a Bulldoze down to 35 HP. It lowers our speed, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to outspeed it, so I pivot into Eagle, who avoids the Bulldoze, and then I swap into Rat, who gets hit with a Rock Slide. That could have missed, but we tank the Rock Slide very well. Even if it had crit, we would have survived. And then I go for Dig, taking out the Excadrill. It was a fairly well executed battle, in my opinion. With that, we get access to the Pokemon World Tournament. This person right here is the Move Rememberer, and with some heart scales, we can teach Pokemon different moves. This is a huge thing for our team. There's a pretty decent amount of heart scales to be found. Another huge thing is this guy right here, who will give us the Rocky Helmet item. Very nice. The game forces us into a World Tournament battle. The good thing about it is the Pokemon are a bit under level compared to us. We're almost 10 levels higher. We could gain a few levels because the level cap is now 39. I'm going to do some of these World Tournament battles. It's a bit risky, but we don't gain any experience, and I think we can do this a few times to get ourselves some battle points. Unfortunately, this is only going to net us 1 battle point beating this one. But there are some TMs that might be interesting. I don't know, Brick Break, maybe U-Turn. But the held items that we have access to is what I am definitely looking at and definitely want. As I said, the TM list is pretty decent. We could get Protect, we could get Double Team. Brick Break, I think we can find Brick Break though without buying it here. U-Turn might be worth it, maybe Swords Dance. There's a couple of decent TMs here. More importantly though, are the held items. This is what I am definitely after. Looking at these, I don't care about the stones, but maybe the wide lens is definitely something I want. The air balloon might be worth it. The flame orb is definitely something I want. That or the toxic orb. I think the flame orb is the better way to go. The choice items are definitely something we want. The choice band, the choice specs, the choice scarf, the focus sash, the life orb. Yeah, we're going to spend some time here and get some held items. After the World Tournament, we do get to get on the Team Plasma frigate, and we get to meet Zinzalin, which is the new leader of Team Plasma for the very first time. Of course, the Shadow Triad then just takes us off the boat, so it is what it is. But this is the start of a huge Team Plasma side story. We run into Cobalion. I'm glad we don't have to fight that thing, a steel fighting type. That would be extremely dangerous. As a matter of fact, we don't have to fight any of these Pokemon that we run into. We do run into Virizion and Terrakion as well. Virizion we could take out, 4 times weak to flying, but the other two would pose a problem, and Cobalion, I don't even know if we would be able to take it out. On Route 7, we can run into our next encounter, a Deerling. This is a great encounter. I'm glad Crunch didn't crit this thing. We have a potential to catch it and put it on the team. I throw an Ultra Ball, and we do catch it the very first Pokeball. Very nice. This thing is a male Deerling, so of course I am going to name it Buck. If it was a female, we would have changed it to Doe, but nonetheless, Buck is on the team. Taking a look at Buck here, it has an Adamant plus attack minus special attack nature. That is phenomenal. Sap Sipper is okay. We could get a boost to attack if we were hit by Grass type move, but I doubt that's going to happen. In the Mistralton Cave that you can access via Surf, the TM for Rock Slide can be found in there. I got that TM and taught it to Worm. I should have taught Dog and Rodent the Thunder Fang and Thunder Punch moves, but I don't have that many heart scales or shards, so I taught him Ice Fang and Ice Punch thinking ahead. I lead Worm, who gets hit with a Heart Stamp turn 1, and then Rock Slide takes Swoobat all the way to a sliver of health. I know Skyla's going to heal, which she does using a Hyper Potion, so I go for Coil, which raises our attack, defense, and accuracy. We get hit with another Heart Stamp, which could flinch us. Luckily it doesn't, and we can fire off a Rock Slide, taking out the Swoobat. Swanna comes out next, and this is where I wish I had the Thunder moves. We get outsped and hit with an air slash down to 41 HP, and then I can fire off a rock slide that cleanly takes out the Swanna. Skarmory comes out next, and this is where things can get a bit dicey. I know that I'm going to outspeed, so I go for Roost turn 1, and I heal myself back up to a 110 HP. Skarmory goes for Agility, and now it outspeeds us. It goes for Steel Wing, which does a decent amount of damage, and I fire off a Rock Slide to see it do about a third. I've got to pay attention here. Skarmory goes for Steel Wing, taking us low, down to 62 HP, so I'm going for Roost, and I heal myself up to 131 HP. Skarmory goes for another Steel Wing, and I think we can use a Coil to get a little bit of a defense boost. Skarmory gets a defense boost off of one of these Steel Wings, which is a bit annoying, and then it crits us down to 37 HP with the next one, as I'm going for Coil. This +3 to defense, though, is going to pull Skarmory out of using Steel Wing and go for Air Cutter, which also crits, but we survive on 1 HP, and we can heal up with Roost. That was very risky, and I almost lost Worm. This heals us up very nicely to 70 HP, and I decide what the heck, we're going to go for it again. Air Cutter doesn't crit this time, doing very minimal damage, and Roost takes us all the way back up to 121 HP. Skarmory hits us with another Air Cutter. This time it crits. That is a high critical hit chance move. Rock Slide takes Skarmory low into very low yellow health. It goes for another Air Cutter that misses, finally, and another Rock Slide takes it out, winning us the 6th gym badge. I'm only showing this cutscene because it is just one of my favorites. I think this is one of the coolest things on the last DS Pokemon game before transitioning over to the 3DS. It's just awesome. Getting to Lentimus Town is a huge upgrade for Cat. We could teach it the Hyper Voice move, we could teach it Icy Wind, and we also find the TM for Shadow Ball, giving Cats a much needed upgrade and making this thing a pretty formidable Pokemon. In Undella Town, we have a rival battle with Algo, and it has been a while since we've battled this thing. He leads Unpheasant, and I lead Cat. Now, Cat has Icy Wind, and Icy Wind is not that great of a move. It has a pretty low base power, but its secondary effect of lowering speed is very nice. Having speed control availabilities in battles is huge. We do well over half of its health, and Unpheasant just goes for Taunt. So one more Icy Wind takes out the Unpheasant, and Emboar comes out next. This thing is a bit scary, but I swap into Eagle. It's just going for Takedown, which we avoid, so free swap in. I go for Aerial Ace. I really should have gone for Fly after seeing how much damage that did, but we avoid another Takedown. Algo then goes for a Hyper Potion, fully healing up the Emboar, and since we outspeed, we can take it out with 2 Aerial Aces. Simipour comes out. I decide to go for Fly, and it misses. Simipour goes for Leer, which activates our Defiant ability as I go for another Fly, this time connecting and one-shotting the Simipour, winning us a pretty easy Algo battle. So we are forced into a double battle with Zinzalin and a Plasma Grunt, and this time Algo is on our team. Emboar is definitely a formidable foe and a great teammate. They lead Cryogonal and Golbat, and I lead Worm, and Algo leads Emboar. Turn 1, Cryogonal outspeeds and goes for a Light Screen, which is fine. Golbat outspeeds and hits us with an Acrobatics, doing a decent amount of damage, but no matter, I connect with a Rock Slide that takes Golbat to red health and one-shots the Cryogonal. Emboar then fires off a Flamethrower, taking out the Golbat. Next out is Sneasel and Garbodor. Garbodor, I think, is a great Pokemon. I really do. Sneasel hits Emboar with a Slash, doing a decent little chip damage, and then I miss Rock Slide against the Sneasel, but take Garbodor down to low yellow health, activating its weak armor ability, which means its defense falls, but its attack raises. Doesn't matter, Emboar takes it out with a Flamethrower. We then get hit with a Slash from Sneasel that does decent damage, down to 83 HP. We miss our Rock Slide, but Emboar connects with a Flamethrower, one-shotting the Sneasel. Drayden, the Dragon-type gym leader, is the 7th gym challenge. He leads with a Druddigon, and I lead Cat. Now, Cat is not out there to do any kind of damage. Though Cat has been very helpful in the gym battles, I am simply going to hit the Dredagon with Charm to lower its attack. There's a plan here. We get hit with a Slash that doesn't do a lot of damage, but it would have had we not hit it with Charm. Go for Charm again to lower its attack that much more, and Dredagon goes for Revenge. Despite it being super effective, it does not do a lot of damage. At this point, I then swap into Worm. We get hit with a Slash on the swap in, again, not doing a lot of damage, and I fire off a Yawn to put the Dredagon to sleep. We get hit with another Slash, doing very minimal damage, and I just go for Roost, waiting for this thing to fall asleep. We get hit with one more Slash before it finally falls asleep, and I swap in Rodent. Now, I know you guys were probably thinking I was going to go for some setup strats, but Rodent does not have any setup moves. I was merely just trying to get him in to take out this Dredagon without taking any damage. This way, we could get to Haxorus with no damage taken. Dredagon cooperates as staying asleep, so we can fire off one more Ice Punch, taking the Dredagon out. Flygon is next, and we outspeed it, and we can one-shot it with a quad super effective Ice Punch, and this just leaves Haxorus. We do outspeed it, and we hit it with an Ice Punch that does well over half of its health, activating its Citrus Berry, which pulls it back up to just below half health. Haxorus then messes up our plan by hitting us with Dragon Tail, which takes us down to 29 HP, but brings out Dog. You see why we didn't want a damaged Rodent. We can fire off an Ice Fang against the Haxorus no matter, and we can take it out, winning us a very easy 7th gym badge. After beating the 7th gym leader, the Space Pirates come to Opelucid City, and they fire off ice beams because they're taking over the world? I really don't understand the whole thought process between freezing the world with Curum and the DNA splicers, and yeah. I just mashed through a lot of this text anyway. But the animations are cool. I really like the animations of the Opelucid City getting hit with a bunch of ice and freezing it over. Yeah, super cool. Before battling Zinzalin here, I did go back to Driftvale City and teach Dog both Thunderfang and Firefang with the last two hard scales we had. I figured they would be more useful for the rest of the game now that the Dragon Gym Leader is down. As a matter of fact, Firefang does take out the first Cryogonal, very nice. The second Cryogonal comes out and falls the exact same way to a single Firefang. Weavile is his last Pokemon, and as it comes out, we are outsped and we are hit with a Slash that does get a critical hit. That is a bit annoying, taking us down to 82 HP. Firefang unfortunately doesn't take out the Weavile, but it gets the burn, so the burn damage takes it out. Very nice. I finally decide to evolve Buck into a Sawsbuck. This is going to be a welcome addition to the team and is definitely going to help us through the 8th gym battle, as well as a good portion of the late game. I forgot about the Marine 2, but this is definitely one of my most favorite parts of all of Black 2 and White 2. You can see Mantines, you can see the Basculin swimming around. I think you can see Wailord at some time. I don't know if I've got to keep coming back and forth, but nonetheless, at the end of the Marine Tube, we can get our hands on the TM4 Facade. I did teach Rat Facade. That is a much better move coupled with its Guts ability, and we have the Flame Orb from the Poke World Tournament. No matter against Marlin and his water types in the 8th and final gym battle, I lead Buck. Hornleech is a much better option. I do decide to go for Feint Attack turn 1 just to do a little bit of chip damage against Caracosta because it has the Sturdy ability. We get hit with a fairly weak Crunch, not quite doing half of our health, and then I can fire off that Stab super effective Miracle Seed boosted Hornleech to take out the Caracosta. This avoids Sturdy, this avoids healing shenanigans, very nice. Wailord comes out next, and despite this thing being a very big and bulky Pokemon, we can one-shot it with the same Hornleech. And Jellicent, we could swap in any number of Pokemon with Dark-type moves against its Ghost-typing, but a Stab super effective Miracle Seed boosted Hornleech takes it out, winning us a very easy 8th and final gym battle. We have another double battle with Zinzalin and a Team Plasma Grunt. We're teamed up once again with our rival Algo here against these guys. This is going to be easy. Rat is a very fast Pokemon, so turn 1 we outspeed and we set up a Swords Dance. Very nice. Cryogonal sets up a Reflect, which is fine. Lipard goes for Night Slash against Rat, which doesn't crit, but still does a decent amount of damage. And then Embor goes for a Head Smash that one-shots the Cryogonal despite the Reflect. Flame Orb then burns us. Zinzalin sends out his next Cryogonal. I go for Facade against the Lipard, cleanly one-shotting it. Cryogonal sets up the light screen, and then another Head Smash takes it out. Jeez. Weavile and Watchog come out next. I take out the Watchog with a Facade. We get hit with a Night Slash from the Weavile down to 25 HP, but Embor connects with a Flamethrower, one-shotting the Weavile. And last but not least is Scolipede. I go ahead and swap into Eagle because I don't want Rat to go down. Embor gets hit with a Steamroller that doesn't do a lot of damage to it. Flamethrower then takes out the Scolipede. We have another encounter here, Clefairy, that we can try to catch. I'm in the middle of some Team Plasma stuff, so though we catch this thing, I'm not going to be able to look at it until a little bit later. I really don't know what type of Pokemon this thing reminds me of, so I go with the cop-out name, and I just name it Fairy. Off to the box it goes. We will look at you in just a little while. We have another battle with Zinzalin, and I do believe that this is the last one that we've got to take on. I did not heal my Pokemon before this battle, so Rat is a little low. And of course, we are quickly approaching the level cap. A Guts Boosted Facade takes out the first Cryogonal. Yeah, we're going to hit the level cap with this Pokemon, and I really should have used other ones, but Rat has just been amazing clearing out the Team Plasma grunts. Don't even have to think about it, just click A and they go away. Another Facade takes out this Cryogonal. We do get that level up to level 58. So as the Weavile comes out, I decide to swap into Eagle. This is a bit risky of a play. We do get hit with a Night Slash on the swap-in that does more damage than I thought it would, down to 100 HP. Weavile has the priority Ice Shard move, which I know we can survive if it doesn't crit, which it doesn't, leaving us at 14 HP, and then we can fire off a super effective superpower, quad super effective, that cleanly one-shots the Weavile. Our final battle with Colress here, I have made some grave mistakes. Leveling Rat up to level 58 is making me have to use other Pokemon and come up with different strategies. I also have an HM Bond on me, so I am crippled by the fact that I only have 5 Pokemon. Turn 1, leading with Dog, I decide to go for Return to break Magneton Sturdy, and then it hits us with a Thunder Wave, which I was prepared for. I have a Cherry Berry, so we heal off the paralysis. I then hit a Fire Fang, and it doesn't do a lot of damage. That sucks. So we get hit with another Thunder Wave, and then Magneton hits a Volt Switch. It does a decent amount of damage, and it swaps into Magnezone. We break through paralysis, luckily, and do well over half of Magnezone's health. And then we get outsped and hit with a Flash Cannon, taking us all the way down to 40 HP. We connect with another Fire Fang, and Magnezone goes down. Clink Clang then comes out. I unfortunately can't stay in at this point because this thing has Giga Impact, so I swap into Rodent, who gets hit with said Giga Impact down to 19 HP. This is where Rodent is now slowly falling off and it needs to be replaced. I swap in Buck on the recharge turn. I then go for Jump Kick, and it does a decent amount of damage, well over half, but Cling Clang goes for Shift Gear, raising its speed and its attack. So next turn it can outspeed us and hit us with a Giga Impact down to 5 HP. I can then hit it with a Jump Kick and take it out. I should have probably used a Horn Leech on its recharge turn, but I didn't want to risk any deaths. Metang comes out next, and I don't have much I can swap into. I have Eagle, I have Rat. They're the only 2 fully healed Pokemon, but Rat is sitting at level 58. So do I risk over leveling this thing and not being able to take it to the Elite Four? I don't really have another choice. I swap Rat in, and it gets hit with a Rock Slide on the swap in. Our Flame Orb then activates, and we fire off a Crunch that does well over half of Metang's health. It then goes for Agility, which is fine, because we can take it out with 1 more Crunch. Beheeyem comes out next, and again, we're risking quite a bit here. I stay in and go for Facade, which cleanly one-shots it. This just brings out the damaged Magneton, and rather than swapping out into anything, I just go for Dig and take out the Magneton. But now I'm running a risk of almost over-leveling the Rat. Crap. Another awesome cutscene happens here where the DNA splicers activate and we're splicing Reshiram and Kirim to create Kirim White. It's a cool little scene. Reshiram flying around trying to avoid the attack, but eventually gets taken down into its Lightstone form, I guess is what that is, and then Kirim absorbs that, turning into Kirim White. So cool. Such a cool cutscene. We then have to battle the Kirim White. I lead Rodent in this battle, and at this point I've realized that Rodent really needs to be boxed, but I go for Ice Punch nonetheless, and we get a lucky critical hit that takes Kirim down to half health. Slash, however, does a ton to Rodent, so I swap into Dog. Dog is been damaged and gets hit with a slash on the swap in down to 69 HP. Nice. We can then fire off a stab return, and luckily it is enough to take out the Kirim. Bit risky, but we came out on the other end. Just like the last couple of battles, I was not 100% prepared for this Getsus fight. This is what happens when you don't know the game very well and you're just kind of running ahead full steam. Against the Cofferegus, I lead Rodent, and at this point I have realized that Rodent just needs to go down. I don't have anything that can swap into this Cofferegus that likes to use Toxic, so I'm just going to stay in and whittle this thing down the best I can. Cofferegus also has Protect to make things very, very annoying, racking up some chip damage with Toxic, and healing itself up with the Held Leftovers item. All of Getsus's Pokemon have held items that make this battle that much more difficult. I'm using Fire Punch in hopes of getting a burn. We could use Ice Punch in hopes of a freeze, but I think the burn is going to do a lot better damage. Again, Protect. I cannot believe the AI is doing so well in this battle. We're losing health. It's gaining health back, almost back to full before we finally connect with another Fire Punch. We do get the burn, which is amazing. And then, of course, we get hit with Psychic down low to 31 HP. Leftovers doing some recovery damage. And then Cofferegus decides it doesn't want to do any more shenanigans because I can fire off one more Fire Punch, taking this thing below half of its health. And we get taken out with a Psychic. It sucks, but Rodent had to go down. The burn damage is now offsetting the Leftovers damage, which is great, and I can bring out Buck. Cofferegus goes for Protect, though, so it can heal up a little bit of its health, and I'm a little bit worried about this thing getting out of range of a Feint Attack. Luckily, it's not out of range, and a Feint Attack KOs the Cofferegus. That does give us the Mummy ability, which is fine. I don't need the Sap Sipper. Out comes Seismitoad, which was kind of weird. We can hit that thing with a quad super effective Horn Leech and easily one-shot it. Electros comes out next. This thing has acrobatics that can easily take us out, so I swap into Dog. We get hit with that said acrobatics on the swap in, doing a decent amount of damage. And then I fire off a return that unfortunately doesn't quite get the KO. We then get hit with a Thunderbolt, and it does a lot of damage down to 56 HP, and now we've put it in a heal lock. Getsus goes for a full restore, fully healing up the Electros, and we fire off a return that takes it right back down to the health it was at. Luckily, Getsus doesn't go for another potion, and we can take it out with one more return. Out next is Toxicroak. I know I cannot survive a Brick Break from this thing, so I swap in Eagle. Eagle takes a decent amount of damage from the Brick Break, but it does chip damage with Rocky Helmet. This means I can fire off an Aerial Ace and guarantee the KO rather than having to risk missing Fly. Unfortunately for us, this brings out Hydreigon next, and I am not able to outspeed this thing and get taken out with a Rock Slide. I thought I could take it out with Superpower, and I thought I could outspeed. This brings Buck in, and Hydreigon is losing health because of a Life Orb. So I go for Jump Kick, and it takes Hydreigon low into low red health. But we get hit with a Dragon Rush all the way down to 24 HP, and then the Life Orb takes out the Hydreigon. That's good, because I've lost 2 Pokemon in this battle. Drapion comes out next, and I cannot stay in with Buck. I have no other options, so I send in Rat. Risking the overlevel here, there's nothing I can do. We get hit with a Night Slash on the swap-in. Takes us down to 97 HP, and then I go for Facade, one-shotting the Drapion, winning us a very hard-fought battle. Though I was going to pull Rodent off the team very soon, losing a starter is never good. Also, losing a powerhouse such as Eagle this late into the game is a huge, huge loss. Losing any Pokemon is not good, but man, these two just hurt something fierce. Also, I'm going to take the HM Pokemon off our damn team, and now we need to add some Pokemon to the team. First and foremost, the Clefairy we caught has a modest plus special attack, minus attack nature. So this thing is definitely going to go on the team. We got it in the Giant Chasm, and we did find another Moonstone. It also has the Magic Guard ability, so perfect. With said Moonstone, we can go ahead and evolve this thing quickly into a beastly Clefable. Clefable is an amazing Pokemon, and this thing has a very, very deep move pool of special type moves that it can learn. So that modest nature is going to come in clutch. Back at the village bridge town, we can find our next encounter. One I kind of passed over for the moment is Zangoose. Of course, we do have to take out the Meryl and then try to catch this thing, which can be a bit problematic in a double battle style, as I found. Luckily for me, Fairy knew Cosmic Power, so we can just kind of waste that turn. Dog takes out Meryl, very nice. And now we'll just start throwing Ultra Balls at this thing in hopes that we catch it. After a few missed Ultra Balls, Fairy does get pretty low on health, making things a bit scary. And unfortunately, I need to use Moonlight to heal up, so that means Dog has to go for an attacking move. Luckily, Zangoose uses Detect on that said move, so I got very, very lucky. I heal up Fairy very nicely with Moonlight, and then we throw an Ultra Ball, which of course he breaks out of, and then the next Ultra Ball finally catches the Zangoose. Now, just like any other naming theme, this thing says it's a cat ferret Pokemon. It resembles more of a mongoose, thus its name Zangoose, so we're going to name it Mongoose. Mongoose here has a relaxed plus defense minus speed nature, and it has the immunity ability, meaning it can't be poisoned. I forgot about this Victory Road check system here. This is one of the coolest in my opinion. I absolutely love coming to Victory Road. Now I go ahead and grab Tranquil out of the box and evolve it into an Unpheasant, and I'm going to put this thing on the team for the upcoming rival battle because it is a bit scary. I have a plan to not use Unpheasant, but I want something just in case the plan doesn't work out. The plan against our rival is pretty simple. We are going to set up and then take out his whole team, if it all works out. His Unpheasant here does have U-turn. It also has Swagger, so I don't know what exactly is going to happen. Turn 1, I go for Swords Dance. I need to get to +6, or I can't take out all of his Pokemon. Unpheasant then hits us with a Swagger, which I was prepared for. We get that +2 to attack, and the confusion that we heal off with a Persim Berry. I then go for a Swords Dance again because I need to get to +6, and we get hit with another Swagger, which is scary. Luckily, I do break through confusion the next turn and take out the Unpheasant with a Rock Slide. This brings out Simipour. We break out of confusion, or snap out of confusion, and we take out the Simipour with a Brick Break. Emboar comes out, and this is the reason I needed +6. A +6 Rock Slide is enough to one-shot it. Very nice. That Emboar could easily have wiped my entire team. Bouffalant comes out, and it too could sweep my entire team, but a +6 Brick Break takes it out, and we have defeated the Algorithm in this run. I actually spent some time looking through my Pokemon, and this is the team I've decided to go with. Rat, the Eradicate with Facade, Swords Dance, Crunch, and Dig. Buck, the Sawsbuck with Horn Leech, Mega Horn, Jump Kick, and Feint Attack. Fairy, the Clefable with Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Moonlight. Obviously, I have TMs and stuff, so we may change up their movesets just a little bit. But Mongoose with Brick Break, X Scissor, Rock Slide, Swords Dance. Bird, the Unpheasant with Return, Fly, Feather Dance, and Roost. And last but not least, a Dog, the Stoutland with Return, Crunch, Thunderfang, and Firefang. First up for the Elite Four, I go Chantel. Her ghost types are scary, but not too scary. Her Cofferegus does not have Toxic, instead it has Will-O-Wisp. I lead Dog nonetheless because
If we attack Cofarigus with Rat, it would get the Mummy ability, losing Guts. I figure this is the better option. Crunch does well over half of Cofarigus' health, and like I said, we get the Mummy ability, which I don't care about. Psychic does a decent little bit of damage to us, and one more Crunch takes out the Cofarigus. Out next for Chantel is Golurk. This Pokemon is a little bit scary. I know it has Brick Break, so I swap into Bird. Brick Break does some damage, and I go for Feather Dance, lowering this Pokemon's attack by 2 stages. We then get hit with another Brick Break, and obviously it's doing a lot less damage. Barring a critical hit, this should work out in our favor. I heal up with Roost, back to full health, and we get hit with Brick Break. Still doing decent damage despite -2, so I go for another Feather Dance to put it at -4. Brick Break then does very, very minimal damage. I go for another Feather Dance to get this thing to -6. And we get hit with another Brick Break that crits us down to 15 HP. Okay, I go for Roost. This should be fine. We can heal Bird up. And we get hit with another Brick Break that crits us again and KOs Bird here in the first Elite Four battle. That's not good because that was my answer into Marshall's fighting types. Nonetheless, I swap in Rat because I have no other option. The Elite Four has started, so not worried about overleveling. I go for Swords Dance turn 1. We get hit with Earthquake, which is random. I figured it would go for Brick Break. Again, that -6 helping out tremendously, and now we can fire off a +2 Guts boosted super effective Crunch that takes out the Golurk. We take out the Chandelure in the exact same fashion, and last for Chantel is her Drifblim, who goes down the exact same way. Luckily for us, Aftermath doesn't KO us. We're still sitting at 46 HP at the end of the battle. But losing Bird, not good. Against Grimsley and his Dark types, Buck is the perfect counter. Turn 1, Liepard goes for the priority Fake Out for a little bit of chip damage, and then we one-shot it with a Jump Kick. Out next is Scrafty. We fire off a Jump Kick that one-shots it surprisingly. It was a critical hit. That did matter for sure. Bisharp comes out, and it goes down to a quad super effective Jump Kick, and this just leaves the Crocodile. As it comes out, the Intimidate hits us, getting us to -1 attack, and unfortunately, that means we cannot one-shot the Crocodile with a Horn Leech. We miss a Rock Tomb, and I decide I need to swap in Rat to go ahead and let this thing get burned for the next fight, since we used a full restore, and Grimsley is going to do the same. I then swap back into Buck, who gets hit with a Rock Tomb, lowering our speed. We then get hit with a Crunch down to 50 HP of damage, but a Stab super effective Horn Leech one-shots the Crocodile. And the reason that we wanted the pre-burn on the Raticate is for the battle with Caitlyn. Against her lead Musharna, I lead Rat. I'm going to set up a Swords Dance turn 1, but I have equipped the leftovers instead of having the Flame Orb on us, so we can gain a little bit of health back as we go through the battle. We get hit with a Charge Beam that does a decent little bit of damage. Does not matter though, this is the point where we start firing off +2 stab Facades, one-shotting the Musharna, one-shotting the Reuniclus, which could have hit us with a Focus Blast, but no matter, it goes down. Sigilyph comes out next, and we one-shot it with a Facade. And last but not least is Gothitelle, who also goes down to a single Facade. Very easy Caitlyn battle. I knew she would be. Marshall is the last Elite Four member, and losing Bird in the first battle with Chantel threw a huge wrench into the plans. I had to come up with a strategy for his Pokemon, and it's not without sacrifice. I lead Fairy against Throw and go for Psychic with the Twisted Spoon. It's not enough to one-shot, but it does well over half of its health, and then it just whiffs a Rock Tomb. So we go undamaged and can KO the Throw with one more Psychic. Out next is Mienshao, and Mienshao can take out the entirety of my team, so the plan is to swap in Mongoose, get taken out with a high Jump Kick, and that brings Rat in safely. I then go for Dig, so that Mienshao misses its high Jump Kick, doing half of its own health in damage to itself, and then I can take it out with a Dig. Conkeldurr comes out next, and Facade is a range, but with the Silk Scarf equipped, we close that range and can one-shot the Conkeldurr. That is 3 down for Marshall and one of my Pokemon down. as the Sock comes out. Sock has Sturdy, so this is a very dangerous Pokemon, and again, there's not much I can do here. I swap in Dog, who can survive a Brick Break on 31 HP, and can fire back a return that takes this thing low, not quite to its Sturdy, and then gets taken out with a Payback. That brings Rat in again for free, and Sock is now in a heal lock. We can fire off a Facade after Marshall uses a full restore, taking this thing down to its Sturdy, and then take it out with one more Facade. We lost 2 Pokemon in the process, and we are down to half of our team, but Marshall has been defeated. Only having half of our team available for the champion battle with Iris is very, very dangerous, but I have a plan. I've changed up the held items. Rat is holding a Life Orb, Fairy is holding the Choice Scarf, and Buck is holding the Miracle Seed. With the Life Orb in place, Rat does not need the Swords Dance boost to take out the Hydreigon with a Guts boosted, Life Orb boosted Facade. Rat is not going to make it through this battle, but he is determined to get us as far as he can. Druddigon comes out next, and it too falls the same way to a Stab Guts boosted Facade with the Life Orb. Aggron comes out, and unfortunately we can't do enough damage with Facade, so I go for Dig as it goes for Autotomize. Dig is enough to one-shot the Aggron. That is 3 down for Iris and 3 to go. Haxorus comes out, and this is the Pokemon that is going to throw the wrench in the plan. I go for that Life Orb boosted Facade, and it has a Focus Sash. That's unfortunate, and we do get taken out from a Dual Chop, but no matter, that was the plan. We can then bring Fairy in as Iris goes for a full restore on her Haxorus, and we can outspeed because of the Choice Scarf, taking this thing out with back-to-back Ice Beams. We are locked into Ice Beam as the Lapras comes out, so I swap into Buck, and the AI cheats here because it goes for Ice Beam, taking me all the way down to 14 HP. Now with the Miracle Seed, we're going to do a lot of damage, and we should one-shot this thing, but it is a range, and we don't get the favorable range. Luckily, we heal up quite a bit, and Lapras switches it up and goes for Surf instead of the Ice Beam. Ice Beam would have taken us out, but that would not have mattered. We can take out the Lapras with one more Horn Leech. If we had lost Buck here, we would have bought Fairy in and taken that thing out with a Thunderbolt. Archeops comes out last. I could save Buck here, but I would rather switch in Clefable into a safe swap, so we let Buck go down. Fairy comes out, and because of the Choice Scarf, we can outspeed the Archeops, and we can one-shot it with a single Thunderbolt, winning us the champion battle and winning us the run. This is probably going to be a pretty long episode, and I had so much fun playing through it, and we learned a lot about this game. Different areas that I had forgotten about, and different battles that kind of popped up as I was kind of rushing the end game. We lost a couple of Pokemon against Getsis that we probably could have prevented had we been a little smarter, but things happen. I'm surprised we made it through the Elite Four, and that last strategy against Iris was pretty ingenious in my opinion. The grind that we did at the Pokemon World Tournament was exactly what we needed to do. It was well worth the hours spent, because that Life Orb was critical. We would not have made it through those Pokemon the way we did without it. Nonetheless, here is our Hall of Fame champion team, with really Fairy the only one left alive. Still have a couple of Pokemon in the box, but that is the end of the run here. I do hope you guys enjoyed the run. Like, comment, subscribe if you did. If you have suggestions for future runs, go ahead and put those in the comment section below. I write every single one of them down. Last episode was a comment suggestion, and I have a comment suggestion video coming up 3 or so episodes away from this one. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one.